It was last month that the vice chairman of the Corpus Christi Port Commission resigned suddenly, Wayne Squires stepping down amid discrepancies over his educational background. Well, now members of the Corpus Christi City Council are getting ready to appoint someone else to fill that seat. Originally, the decision was set for tomorrow, but that has now been delayed. Our Bill Churchwell is with us, and he has more on the list of applicants and why the selection is so important. Bill?
And important because the Port of Corpus Christi, as you can imagine, is a big economic driving factor for South Texas. It's now the nation's third largest port in terms of tonnage. The Port Commission helps to set policy for that continued success and growth. Wayne Squires, who was vice chair of the commission, resigned last month after it was learned he was not a college graduate, despite his application stating he was. A handful of candidates have submitted their applications to fill the spot. There were 11 people on that list. However, 2 of the candidates have since withdrawn their names. The list includes everyone from an attorney to a retired CEO and even a former fire captain. I spoke with the city secretary about the vetting process.
Once people submit their applications, what we do is we make sure they meet the minimum qualifications that they outline on their application, and they swear to that those are correct statements on their application. We compile those applicants and we provide them to the council.
Now, council members were set to make the appointment tomorrow, but it will be recommended by the city attorney to reschedule it to the February 11th meeting. Applicants have until tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. to apply online. The position does not come with a salary. It is strictly voluntary, and commissioners can serve up to 4 3-year terms. We'll keep you updated.
Bill,